Last video, and I'm going to show you how to sew a button onto your sampler. Okay, this is the sampler that I've been demonstrating on. This is a sampler that I did earlier. Okay, you can see there's a button. Now we're going to be sewing the button on. I'm going to show you both ways to do it. One, you would sew it flat onto the fabric. So if you have thin fabric, that's what you do. If you have a thick fabric, like on a coat, you would sew it so that there is what's called a shank. You can see right there, there's a stem of thread. It's almost like the stem on a flower, and this would be the bloom. Okay, there is a stem of thread. That's called a shank. The reason you need a shank for thick fabrics is to accommodate the thickness of the fabric, like say on a coat. You would need that to be raised up. So here's a piece of fabric that's very, very thick. Okay, it's fleece. It's very thick. So if you were putting a button onto this, you would need, show it on the pink, you would need that shank to accommodate the thickness of the fabric so that the button would lie flat. See how that shank raises the button up, so it's going to lie flat on that thicker fabric. So next time you see a coat, like a pea coat or a wool coat, like a dressier coat, that uses buttons, take a look at the buttons. They'll have shanks on them. Okay, so that's why there's a difference in buttons. So what you want to do first is you get your sampler, you make your knot, just like we always have. You're going to wind it around your finger 3 or 4 times. You're going to roll it. Roll it. This is being difficult today. Okay. Pull, pull, pull. Pull, 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 pull. Okay. Here's your knot. Okay. Here's the button. There's the right side is the side that has the design on it and you want it to be showing. This is the wrong side. This is the back. Right side, wrong side. So you want the right side to be showing. So you're going to put that on your fabric anywhere that you're going to sew it. So we're going to sew this one up here. You want to start the back of the fabric. Pick a spot where 4 boxes, squares intersect. Put your needle through. Okay. So your knot's on the back. And you're going to take your button, and you're going to come through the wrong side. You're going to go through a hole. Okay? Then you're going to go through the hole on the right side that is diagonal to it. So we're not going to go here to here. We're going to go here to here. You can go through the hole. So far, we have our button. There's the wrong side. There's the right side. Is attached to our fabric. We're going to pull that like that. Now, on the fabric, now you see that your thread here is coming out of the wrong side of the button. So now you're going to go through, back through the fabric, front to back, right next to where the thread is coming through. You don't want to go in the exact same spot because you don't want to, you need a little bit of fabric in between both of these to secure the button. And then you pull it. Okay? Don't pull it too tight. Now, you can do this a couple of times. Most times you do it twice. Again, you're going to go through, and you don't want a big mess on the back, so you're going to try to keep all of your thread. You don't want to be all over the place. So you're going to be coming back through very, very close to where you came through the first time. Okay? And then you're going to follow that thread through that hole. See? Then you're going to follow the thread on the right side, back down through the hole to the wrong side. Oops. the wrong side, and right through the fabric, right there. Keeping all of your stitches very close. Okay, so we did it twice. Okay, we're not pulling it super, super tight. Now, I'm going to go back to the back. See how I'm keeping everything very close together. So now you're going to go back through the fabric. Okay, and here now your needle is between your fabric and your button. You're going to go up through the wrong side of an empty hole that you did not come through. Okay, see? New hole. And you're going to go back down through the right side of that button into the hole that you didn't, the last hole that you haven't gone through. Keeping all of your stitches very close together in the back. Okay. There you go. So, we're going to do that again. See? On the back. Everything is pretty close together. Back through. There's your needle. There's the hole you want. Going on the right side, you're going to go back through the diagonal hole. And the fabric. Oh, there you go. And you pull it. And you're going to end up at the back. So, your thread is coming through the back. Your button is sewn on the front. And you come through each hole, through one hole, into another, twice. Okay? That's how, now you would knot this on the back, and that's how you would sew a button onto a shirt or a thin piece of fabric. Now I'm going to show you how to make the shank. So what you're going to do is take your needle, and you see we have a little bit of play here. Okay, there's a little bit of space here. We're going to go back through that wad, keeping everything around the same place. But this time we're not going through a hole. We're just coming through the fabric and in between the button and the fabric. So now our thread is in between the fabric and the button. See that? So what we're going to do is we're going to wad up the fabric like this and hold it like this. Make sure you've got a little bit of space, between the fabric and your button. You're going to wind this like you're winding up a yo-yo. Just going to go around and around in between the fabric and the button, just like you were winding up a yo-yo. Okay, so you want it to be about that thick. Okay. Now you're going to take your needle. You're going to go into that shank. You're going to go into the shank and back through the back of your fabric. You want to end up back here. Okay, see? The needle is going into the shank. You see that? I'm trying to get this so you can see it. The needle is going into the shank and is coming out through the back of the fabric. And then you're going to pull that. It can be a little difficult because that's a lot of thread. Okay. Now you're going to knot it. So you're going to take right where that thread is coming through the fabric, take a little bit of fabric like that. Same knot that we do at the end of a line of stitching. Before the loop closes, go through the loop and do the same thing in the exact same spot. Through. Before the loop closes, go through the loop. You have your double knot. Your button is secured. See? And you have your shank. Let's see, there. There it is. And there's your shank. Okay. That's how you sew the button onto your sampler. So your sampler is going to be your stitches are going to go all the way to the edge. Well, just a couple boxes before the edge. You're going to go all the way here, all the way here, all the way here. Your sampler is going to look like this, where you're going to have your stitching going from one side to the other, parallel to your tape, and your button with a shank. When this is done, you've shown me that you know how to thread your needle, make a knot to start your sewing, make a knot to end your sewing. You know all 3 stitches, and you know how to sew a button on. Then you're ready to do your project. Thanks. Happy sewing.